Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you the easiest way that you can play Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. Now, this one does have quite a few chord shapes, but none of them are difficult. There's no bar chords. The transitions, there's actually a few tricks as far as making the chord transitions are concerned, and the strumming pattern is super simple, just downstrokes only. You know, it's more about the feeling of it, which is great if you want to help build up your rhythm. Now, if along the way you find that you need any extra help, I have a free ebook that covers all the basics of rhythm guitar, you know, the chords, the strumming, putting it all together. It's completely free for all my subscribers. There's a link down below for that, so please check that out. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right in with the chord shapes needed to play the verse. We start off with a C chord. Then we have E minor, and when we're switching from C to E minor, we can leave our middle finger down and then just finish our E minor shape. Then we go to A minor, and once again we can leave our middle finger down and then we can make our A minor shape. So for the first three transitions, you can leave your middle finger down. Now this next one, A minor / G, it's really straightforward. We just take our ring finger and we just move it to the 3rd fret of the thickest string. So it feels like a C chord, except our finger is on the thickest string instead of the A string. And you'll have to readjust your elbow, you know, get your fingers in so that they're close to the frets. Then we're gonna go to F. And F can be played as a bar chord, but there's an easy way to do it as well. So we're on our A minor over G. We're gonna leave our first finger down. We're going to put our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, then our pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and our ring finger just above it on the A string. My thumb is lightly touching the thickest string, not required, but it does help. And then from thickest to thinnest, mute, 3, 3, 2, 1, and then that one's muted, but if it's open, it also sounds really nice in the context of this particular tune. And there's just one more chord needed to play the verse. It's G. And I like playing it this way for this particular tune because all the other chord shapes have us in that kind of position. So if we just put our ring finger on the thickest string and our pinky on the thinnest string at the 3rd fret, the underside of my ring finger is muting the A string. It's a really easy way to play G, and it's really helpful since we're going to be quickly going between F and G and C and G. And if you need extra help with those chord shapes, like I already mentioned, I have that free ebook that goes over all of it. It even comes with some videos that'll help you practice the chord transitions, you know, in a systematic way. I also have my complete beginner's course, which takes you step by step through the entire process from absolute beginner to confident strummer. So please check that out as well. Anyways, now that we have the chord shapes, let's play them in order using downstrokes only, just so we can get used to the counting, to the switching, and putting them together a little bit without adding the strumming yet. We're starting on our C chord. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 'cause I can't help falling in love with you. 2, 1, 2. So make sure you can do that downstrokes only, counting out loud. It's pretty much 2 beats per chord shape with a couple exceptions. You can just rewind that, try that as many times as you need to. And when you're ready, we can add the strumming pattern, which goes like this. I'll do it slowly. 1 and 2 and The strumming pattern consists of 6 downstrokes. We count it out a particular way because we're in 6/8 time. And that number on the top, 6, that's the important thing. We got 6 downstrokes. They happen to be 8th notes. That's where the 8 comes from, in case you're interested. So we're going to count 1 and 2 and And I want you to just try that, counting out loud, going 1 and 2 and as you play downstrokes, going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then at a certain point, when you feel ready, you can say 2 a little louder, and you can play it a little louder. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and So we're emphasizing beat 2, and that creates this backbeat type of feeling, and that's what the song feels like. You could play a more complicated strumming pattern, but that contains everything we need to say this song, rhythmically, it feels this way. So try that strumming pattern out, counting out loud, emphasizing beat 2. Try it on each chord shape, get used to it, get comfortable with it. And when you're ready, we can add it to the chord shapes. And I want to do this with a metronome, just so we can keep a nice steady pace. I've set mine to 40, and it's playing triplets. 1 and 2 and that way we can get the feel of the song. Starting off on C, here we go. 1 and 2 and All right, so that's the verse. Now the other section is the bridge, and we're going to need a couple new chord shapes for that. First we have B7, and we're going to be switching from E minor to B7 quite a bit, so it's worth it taking a look at that switch, just trying it out a couple times. I like to place these 2 fingers first on the 2nd fret of the A string and the 2nd fret of the G string. The pinky's on the 2nd fret of the thinnest string, so it's kind of like skip one. You just skip one each time, and then you plug the hole with your index finger. And it's worth practicing that switch a few times. Then there's an A7 chord. And if we take a couple fingers out of that B7 chord, just these 2, and we just move them over there, that's an easy way to remember that one. Then there's D minor. So take a minute with those switches. Remember, I have that ebook and the Complete Beginner's course if you need help working out those mechanics, all the basics. We're going to do these downstrokes only, just counting along, just like we did with the verse earlier in this lesson, starting on E minor. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So try that as many times as you need to until you're comfortable with the switching, counting each one out the right amount of times. Then we can add the strumming pattern to that. I'm going to get my metronome on again. Here we go. 1 and 2 and So it goes, so right, so that's all the components that make up this song. The only thing we have left to do is figure out how to put it all together. The song starts off with 2 verses. So verse 1, verse 2. Then we play the bridge, then verse 3. We play the bridge again, then the 4th verse, and then the song ends just with the second half of the verse. I can't help. You know, we do that part 2 times in the final verse, basically. And that's it. That's the entire tune. So at this point, I recommend going over all those components again, you know, working on the chord switching by itself, on the strumming pattern by itself, putting it together for each section, and then listening to the original recording. And, you know, now you'll be more aware of what's going on with it now that you know all the little components that make it up. And then you can just print off the lyrics and put the song together. This one's pretty straightforward in that regard. And if you'd like access to a video where I play through the entire song from start to finish with the chords and lyrics at the top, I have one available on my Patreon page. It's exclusive for members of my Patreon page. There's more info on that down below, so please check that out. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.